Hello everyone, Yakri here with another Warframe video. This one's going to be a little off the cuff as I need to actually jump in game and test some of this stuff, but I wanted to talk about this Warframe update first, do a little quick overview about it. I know I'm 8 hours late, but unfortunately I am actually gainfully employed again now, so I have other things to do on Fridays. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the stuff that was added. I'm just going to go over the Reddit post comments because it makes a much nicer backdrop with the dark theme I've got on. So the big positive note, the biggest positive note, there's a good number of nice things in this update, but the biggest positive note has got to be these new harder missions. I don't know if they're going to be good. I haven't tried them out yet, but simply the fact that DE is implementing kind of a harder type of mission for us to do, the lethal alerts. I don't know if they're actually alerts, like alert missions as we know them, right? But you know, regardless, I'm excited for it. I hope that they will actually be kind of an interesting challenge. I guess they must not be alerts since they're always endless, right? Okay, so bit of a misnomer there. Anyway, yeah, so the lethal alerts look pretty exciting to me. I really like the whole way that they've decided to do these, except with one little exception, which is that they appear to make most of the mission types longer. I think if anything, defense missions sound better, like all around. You get less time to prepare between waves. Awesome. And yeah, I mean, that just seems great. Oh, but they're earned at double the usual interval for those as well, too. Yeah, so earned at double the usual interval. Not a fan. 30 minutes of survival for 3 rotations. Not digging it. However, everything else about these seems pretty good. The mods look pretty interesting and powerful. The increased difficulty is great. The player-specific boons, like this one, for example, right here, awesome. I like that. We'll have to see how much variety there is for these in-game, but I'm a big fan of it conceptually, so that's great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that overall. New weapons, no comment yet. I want to try them out, and it might take me a little bit. I mean, it's cool. I'm always glad to get more content, and it's been a while since there's been anything really interesting to talk about. Let's see. I don't think there's a lot of super impactful stuff to talk about here. We got some new Captura scenes, which is always fun. I rather appreciate it. If I ever start bothering to make thumbnails again, that'll be great. Yeah, so the daily milestone changes, they seem pretty good mostly. Getting past 1,000 days is still pretty insane, honestly, and I feel like they could probably start the more hardcore veteran rewards earlier. Like, sticking with the game for a year worth of logins is pretty crazy on its own. People who pass that's crazy. That's insane. This is well past 3 years of. No, not well past 3 years, but about at 3 years of logging into the game that you start getting these more impactful milestones. But either way, that's great that they've got this new system in. It seems mostly pretty good. The resources, the rare resources you get, scaling seems really underwhelming. Day 1000, you get 6x Tellurium. Wow, who cares? You know, it's still pretty lame. But it's something, right? Something is better than nothing. That's something that's not actually always true. But yeah. So Saren changes have happened. On Reddit, it says spore scaling reduced from 100,000 to 700,000. This isn't correct, I'm pretty sure. Scaling per second. Yeah, so on the forums it says from 10 to 7, right? So it's actually the rate of damage increase, the rate at which damage ticks up has been reduced by 30%. That's a better way to look at it. This is just incorrect. And Miasma's base damage is halved, but its multiply damage is increased to 4 times, and it actually works when it didn't before. That's the Saren change. So overall, Miasma is stronger if you are hitting enemies with spores. It's twice as much damage as it did before if the enemies are affected by spores. Not too hard of a condition to make, but I don't like it because it makes Miasma more dependent on spores. This is not synergy, by the way, DE. I do feel like the Warframe community has a tendency to take anything which is like a combo or a synergy and call it dependency, just literally anything. However, by nature of it, them calling literally anything a dependency, they are correct in some cases, and this is one case where you can be quite confident that you are correct in thinking this is a dependency. This is absolutely a dependency. Miasma actually dealing like a decent amount of damage at all is dependent on you having previously cast spores and affected all the enemies you intend to hit with Miasma with the spores. Yeah, synergy would be, for example, the fact that Miasma procs enemies with a viral proc, which will increase the damage of your spores through another in-game mechanic, just kind of by the nature of the ability, rather than by a hard two-ability interaction. Combos, well, that's all. There's probably a whole video where I could talk about dependency versus combo versus synergy, but suffice it to say this is a dependency. You could call it a combo, but I think combo and dependency somewhat equally apply here, and because I think it's kind of a negative influence on how players use the skills, I would call it a dependency as it deserves the negative connotations that brings. So with that, they've reduced your spore damage scaling by 30%. I think this is kind of uncalled for. A lot of people point to the fact that Saren does massive damage anyway. However, I would point to the fact that that is fine in Warframe, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Which is to say that there wasn't really a problem. Saren's damage is insane, but there's a problem with her damage being insane. As such, you shouldn't touch it because it's fun. You know, balance is important to a degree. However, I think Warframe has achieved like the pinnacle of it doesn't matter how balanced something is as long as it's fun. And the main reason to balance things is because you have Warframes that are very weak, like say old Oberon, that aren't fun because they can't really affect the game. They're not strong enough to affect the game in a meaningful way. And when you buff them enough that they can affect the game in a meaningful way, they become fun. It doesn't really matter if they're overpowered or middle of the pack, as long as they can affect the game in a meaningful enough way to be fun. And this is taking a Warframe who's on the high end of Warframe power and nerfing them, but there doesn't seem to be a reason to nerf them, so I don't think it should happen. It's my personal view on, I don't know, game balance and what I enjoy when playing the game. Maybe not everyone agrees with it, but that's kind of how I feel about this. I'm not sure why this needed to happen. It felt like she was in a pretty good place already, so yeah. Other than that, we got some bug fixes. Revenant can't kill nullifiers anymore. Sad, but necessary. A lot of really, really nasty bugs with Revenant being fixed as well, so doesn't feel so bad in that regard. Although many people pointed out that the fix to nullifiers kind of inconsistent with how some other things in the game work with nullifier interactions. So maybe another look at making nullifier interactions more predictable is in order. And I'd really like to see some Warframe abilities affect them. In fact, it would be really nice if we had some sort of enemy diversification where certain enemies are immune to different sets of types of Warframe abilities and not just a certain set of enemies that are immune to all of them, which is what we have currently. Yeah, anyway. Dojo editions. So where's this thing that they did that was really stupid? There's something really dumb in here. Let me see if I can find the specific note. Initiates can no longer purchase or replicate clan research. Contributing is allowed. This prevents new recruits from joining and bailing once they've taken their fill of research. This wasn't a problem. This is not a real problem at all. This was never a problem. It isn't a problem now. This wasn't anything anyone was asking to be fixed, and it's created a new problem, which is that if you want to just let people join your clan, get some research, and bail, you have to actually go to this extra step of promoting them. This is just unnecessary and unhelpful in every way, and makes clan management, if anything, more annoying because you need a separate non-initiate rank instead of just inviting people and having them being able to do everything at that. Even if people who aren't going to bail, you have to invite them and promote them immediately. It's a pain in the ass. Why would you do this? There is no reason to do this. I hope they just roll it back. I think this is a inexcusably bad decision for no reason. So that it's not like a huge deal at the end of the day, but it's totally pointless and dumb. So, you know. Anyway, we've gotten some of Melee 3.0. Just the sounds have come out. That's cool. But Melee 3.0 when? I want to be able to dodge out of my freaking animations already, DE. And a huge amount of miscellaneous changes. Seriously, there's a fuckload. I'm not actually going to cover them in this video because I want to jump in the game and get some stuff done. If there's anything really meaningful in here, which I don't think there's anything like big enough to make a whole video about, but if there is, I'll make a separate video on that topic. If not, Good on DE just patching so many minor issues. Basically, I love seeing patches like this. I know it's not very exciting, but just like a huge miscellaneous changes category that's like a massive amount of bug fixes and like just tweaks and stuff. Very nice. I feel like I missed it in here, but they added the new menu screens. No, I didn't say it right there. They added the like infinite scroll wheel. I'll have to show that off in game in another video, but that I'm very infinite scroll wheel. I didn't describe that very well, did I? They added a infinitely spiraling outward wheel to your equipment, right? So now you can have as many equipment things as you want. We're not limited to whatever it was, like 12 or something, 12 or 16, I forget. So that's awesome, actually. I'm just super excited about that because I was way over that, and you don't have to change stuff very often. Once in a while, you're gonna swap something out, and it's really fucking annoying. You gotta put your thing you're used to having there back, so... I think they also made the charges for Archwings in Plains of Eidolon infinite this patch. Somewhere in here. A friend of mine told me that. So I didn't see it in here. So I'm kind of wondering where the hell it is. But it's supposed to be here. So if that's the case, I'm stoked. I think not making them charge-based was really annoying. And particularly with how aggravating a certain Plains of Eidolon mechanic related to Archwings is. It's the auto kill. Having them on charges was really irritating. It's not a big deal, but it was irritating for no good reason. And this kind of mostly fixes that. It's still I don't think it needs to be a mechanic, but at least it doesn't feel like you gotta eventually go out and grind more resources to get your Archwing parts. So that's cool, and that's all for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will have more content for you soon, as fast as I can get through all the star map locations. I know I haven't actually done them all. Shockingly, it's because doing the whole star map is kind of fucking boring. And if there was one other complaint I had about this patch, is that the criteria for unlocking the lethal alerts is unlocking the whole star map. Dude, there's no reason anyone should want to unlock the whole star map except for just completionism, right? That's a fair reason. If you just want to complete everything, okay. But you know what? I'm sure there's like a couple players out there who actually like every single game mode, but I'm not one of them. I assume the majority of people are not included in that group, and it's kind of annoying that we have to do that now. I'm not going to have fun getting these unlocked. I can tell you that right now. It's going to suck, but I'm going to do it. So anyway, Yakri out. See you guys later.